The first time I joked about marrying my boss, I did not expect her to turn my own birthday into a line I could not walk back from. I thought I was being funny. I thought she would roll her eyes and call me an idiot the way she always did when I tried to make the office less stiff. I did not think she would lean in, look me dead in the eye, and say words that made the whole room tilt. It started with the cupcake. I was not supposed to be at the office that late. It was already past 9. Most of the floor was dark. The only light came from the glass corner office and the little strip of fluorescent over the break room. I had stayed to finish a client report because rent does not care that you turn 28. Rent just wants to be paid. My name is Jason Miller. I am a data analyst for a logistics tech firm in Chicago. It sounds important when I say it like that, but most days it just means I stare at spreadsheets until my eyes cross. I am good with numbers, not people. I am the guy who stands near the food table at parties, so I do not have to talk too much. My boss is not like that at all. Her name is Olivia Hart. People on the news call her a rising star. In the office, we call her Ms. Hart when she is in a bad mood, and Olivia when she is not listening. She became CEO at 36, which makes her a legend and a target at the same time. She walks like she already knows where she is going, and everyone else is just late. That night, I thought she had already gone home. Her office door was half closed, blinds mostly down, so I stayed quiet at my desk. I was trying not to think about the texts from my friends, the group chat blowing up with birthday drinks and bar plans. I told them I would try to make it. I lied. The company had cut a whole department last quarter. I was not eager to be next. When I finally hit send on the report, I leaned back in my chair and rubbed my eyes. My stomach growled. I had skipped dinner. Again. I pushed away from the desk and headed for the break room, hoping there was still a stale granola bar or something. The first thing I saw was the candle. It sat in the middle of a single chocolate cupcake on the counter. One candle, already lit, wax just starting to drip. Someone had turned off the loud overhead light and left only the small lamp in the corner. It made the room feel softer, almost warm. Next to the cupcake was a paper plate with my name written across it in thick blue marker. Jason. I froze in the doorway. You gonna make a wish or just stand there, Miller? Her voice came from behind me, calm, a little amused. I turned and saw Olivia leaning against the doorframe, hands in the pockets of her black blazer. Her hair was pulled back in a low ponytail instead of the sharp bun she wore during the day. She had taken off her heels. She was barefoot on the ugly tile floor, red nail polish bright against white. My brain did a dumb skip. Bare feet, CEO, candle, birthday. Me, you did this? I asked. She gave a small shrug. The corner of her mouth lifted. HR would not let me throw you a real party, she said. Something about favoritism and liability. So this is what you get. One cupcake and a fire hazard. I stepped inside. The candle flame flickered with the movement. I noticed there was another plate on the counter. No name, just a fork. A second cupcake sat there, plain vanilla. You got yourself one too, I said. She snorted softly. Please, she said. If I waited for someone else to celebrate me, I would be waiting forever. I looked at her then, really looked. The soft light showed the tired lines near her eyes, the ones you do not see when she is standing in front of a camera. Her white shirt was open at the collar, a little wrinkled. There was a faint red mark on her wrist where a bracelet must have dug in during the day. She looked less like a headline and more like a person. I did not know you knew it was my birthday, I said. Her eyes met mine. I sign your payroll, Jason, she said. I know more about you than you think. Her tone was dry, but there was no threat in it. She pushed the cupcake closer. Come on. Before the sprinkler system goes off, and I have to explain to the board why we drowned the servers for your wish, I stepped up to the counter. The candle flame reflected in the break room window like there were two little fires. My chest felt tight for a reason I could not name. Make a wish, she said. I shut my eyes, more out of habit than belief. I did not wish for money or love or anything big. I just wished I would stop feeling like I was always one bad meeting away from losing everything. When I opened my eyes, the candle was still burning. I must have taken too long. "You have to actually blow," she said. "That is how it works." "Right," I said. I took a breath and blew the candle out. Smoke curled up in a thin line. The room smelled like cocoa and sugar and a little bit of burnt wick. She clapped once, quietly, like a private joke. "Happy birthday," she said. "Thanks," I said. "No one has done this for me since my mom lived here." The words slipped out before I could catch them. Her face softened. "How long since you moved away from home?" she asked. 3 years, I said. She is in Florida now. Remarried. New husband, new house, new dog. No time to ship cupcakes to Chicago. "You could go visit," Olivia said. I watched her fingers move along the edge of the counter. She was not eating her cupcake. She was just holding the fork like it gave her something to do with her hands. "Plane tickets are not cheap," I said, "and someone has to keep the dashboards from crashing." She huffed out a quiet sound. That was almost a laugh. "Tell that to the board," she said. "They think the dashboards code themselves." The room went quiet for a moment. Not heavy, just still. The city lights shone faintly through the small window above the sink. Somewhere down the hall, the cleaning crew rolled a cart. I picked up my cupcake and pointed the fork at her. "So this is it?" I asked. "This is the famous Hart birthday package? One cupcake and a mildly threatening payroll joke? You also get one free question," she said. My brows pulled together. "One what?" "One question," she repeated. "Anything you want to ask me." "Once a year. On your birthday. I reserve the right to refuse if it could get us both sued. But I will try to answer honest." "That is a dangerous offer," I said. "I know," she said. "That is why I only make it to people who have not run screaming from this company yet." I thought for a second. Words lined up in my head. "Why do you stay so late? Are you as lonely as you look from your office window? Do you ever regret taking this job?" I pushed all of them aside and went for the stupid one instead. "You sure?" I asked. "Any question?" She nodded once. "One." I took a breath I probably did not need. My mouth moved before my brain could catch up. "Fine," I said. "Marry me." The words hung there. Light. Joking. Or that is what I told myself. Her eyes flicked up to mine fast. For a second, something raw flashed there. Then it was gone, covered by a smirk. "Bold," she said. "It is a smart move," I said, trying to keep my voice easy. "You get a loyal employee for life. I get dental and a spouse who understands spreadsheets. Win, win." "You think I do not already have dental?" she asked. I grinned. "You do not have me," I said. There it was, a line I should not have crossed. I expected her to laugh and shove my shoulder. Call me ridiculous. Move on. Instead, Olivia set her fork down very carefully. She turned so her hip rested against the counter, facing me fully now. Her eyes searched my face in a way that made my skin feel too tight. "You are joking," she said. "Of course," I said. "Unless you are not." There, I did it again. Pushed the joke just a little too far. My heart beat hard in my chest. My palms went damp. I told myself it did not matter. She was my boss. A different world. This was just birthday banter. She stepped closer. I could see the small scar near her chin where she must have cut herself as a kid. I could smell her perfume, clean and sharp with a warm note under it. My brain cataloged these things because it did not know what else to do. "You really want to know what marrying me would be like, Jason?" she asked. Her voice had dropped. It was softer now. Serious. My throat felt dry. I lifted one shoulder. "Maybe," I said. She held my gaze for a long second. Longer than was safe. Then she smiled, slow and small. "My place tonight," she said. 10 o'clock. Bring a ring." For a moment, I thought I heard her wrong. Then I saw the way her hand tightened on the counter. Not a joke, not a throwaway line. I stared at her. "You are serious," I said. Her eyes did not move from mine. "You used your one question," she said. "Now I am using my answer." My heart slammed against my ribs. The office suddenly felt too bright, too loud, even in the quiet. I swallowed hard. "Okay," I said. But my voice did not sound like mine anymore. She picked up her cupcake, finally taking a bite. "Happy birthday, Jason," she said. "Try not to be late to your own proposal." By the time I made it back to my apartment, my brain felt like it had been unplugged and plugged back in wrong. I stood in the middle of my small living room, still holding my work bag, staring at the cheap rug like it had answers. The city sounds floated in through the window, horns and distant sirens. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, messages from my friends flashing. "You coming or what, birthday boy? We got shots lined up. Jason, answer." I typed back, "Rain check, work thing." That was the truth. Just not the kind anyone would believe. My eyes went to the digital clock on the TV stand. 9:22. I had 38 minutes before 10. "My place tonight. Bring a ring." Her voice replayed in my head, calm and sure, like she was asking me to join a Zoom call, not walk into a life I did not understand. I dropped my bag on the couch and went to the small dresser in my bedroom. Top drawer, under socks. The little black box was still there, pushed to the back. I stared at it. 3 years ago, I had been dating a girl named Kelsey. We had made plans. Talked about moving in together, talked about getting out of the city, talked about rings. I had bought one. Nothing huge, nothing fancy, but real. A quiet promise in a box. 2 months later, she told me she could not do it. She said I was stable, kind, solid, and that was the problem. She wanted crazy. She wanted a life that looked like a movie, not an Excel sheet. The ring went into the drawer. I told myself one day I would return it. I never did. My fingers closed around the box now. The weight was small, but it felt heavy in my palm. "This is insane," I told myself. "She is your boss. She is out of your league. She did not mean it. This is some kind of test. Maybe she wants to see if you're the kind of idiot who crosses lines." I put the box back. Then I took it out again. I saw her face in the break room. The way her hand had tightened on the counter. The way her eyes had gone serious when she said my place, not ours or somewhere neutral. Her place, private. I grabbed my jacket and the box and headed for the door before I could talk myself out of it. Her building was on the river, all glass and steel and quiet security guards who looked like they could throw you through a wall but were too well trained to try. I had only been there once before, to drop off some contracts when her driver had car trouble. The lobby smelled like expensive air. The man at the desk looked up as I walked in. "Name?" he asked. "Jason Miller," I said. "Here to see Olivia Hart." He checked a screen, then gave a short nod. "She cleared you," he said. 27th floor. Take the west elevator." My stomach flipped at the idea that she had told them to expect me. Not a last-second joke then, a plan. The elevator ride felt like it lasted an hour, even though it took less than a minute. My reflection in the metal doors looked pale and wired. Brown hair too messy, shirt a little wrinkled from a long day. Not a man who belonged in this building. When the doors opened, the hallway was quiet. Soft carpet, soft lights, artwork that probably cost more than my car. Her door was at the end. I took a breath and knocked. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the lock clicked. The door opened. Olivia stood there barefoot again, this time in dark jeans and a gray sweater that fell off one shoulder. Her hair was loose around her face. Without the blazer and heels, she looked younger and somehow more dangerous. "You are on time," she said. "I am impressed." I held up the little black box before I could lose my nerve. "You said bring a ring," I said. Her eyes dropped to the box. For a second, something like relief crossed her face. "Real ring," she said. "I thought you might show up with one out of a candy machine." "Thought about it," I said. She stepped back from the door. "Come in." The apartment looked nothing like I expected. I thought it would be all glass and chrome, cold and perfect, like her office. There was some of that, sure. High ceilings, big windows looking over the river, clean lines. But there were also books stacked on the coffee table, a soft blanket thrown over the arm of the couch, a plant in the corner that looked half dead but defiant. She closed the door behind me and locked it. The click sounded louder than it should have. "You want water?" she asked. "Coffee. Whiskey. Water is good," I said. She went to the kitchen, moving with a sure ease, like she had walked these floors 1,000 times alone. I set the ring box on the edge of the counter and watched her fill 2 glasses from a tall steel filter. My hands felt useless, hanging at my sides. Olivia slid 1 glass toward me and rested her hip against the island. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The city lights reflected in the window behind her, making it look like there were 2 of her. The public woman and the private one. "You think I am crazy," she said finally. I took a sip of water. "I think I am underqualified to answer that," I said. Her mouth twitched. "Fair. Why me?" I asked. The words came out rough. "You could ask anyone. You could hire anyone. You could pick some clean-cut guy with a perfect resume and no student debt. Why me?" She exhaled slowly and set her glass down. Then she walked around the island to the other side, closer to me. She did not touch the ring box yet. "Because you are boring," she said. I blinked. Ouch. Her eyes softened. "Not that kind of boring," she said. "The stable kind. The kind who stays late to finish work no one thanks you for. The kind who does not sell out when someone waves money in your face. The kind who does not lie about numbers." "This still sounds like a bad sales pitch," I said. She gave a short laugh that did not quite reach her eyes. "Come with me," she said. She led me down a short hallway into what looked like a home office. It was smaller than the one at work, but it had the same neat surface. Laptop, a few folders, 1 big leather chair. On the desk sat a thick, black binder. She put her hand on it like it might bite. Then she flipped it open and turned it toward me. Inside were legal documents, pages and pages of them. The top one had her name in bold. There was a raised seal in the corner and a cold, precise font that looked like it had never met joy. "Family Trust Hart Holdings," I read. "Governance Clause." I skimmed the first paragraph. It was full of words like succession and stability and moral character. "My father believes in old rules," she said. "So did my grandfather. Men who built things and then decided women were too emotional to run them unless they were tied to a man they trusted." Heat rose in my chest. Anger. Not for me, for her. "This says," I started slow. "This says if you are single after a certain date, the board can challenge your position as CEO. They do not even have to prove anything," she said. "They just have to call it a crisis of confidence, a lack of stability at the top. The trust gives them cover. It gives my father cover. He wants to hand the company to my cousin or some man who reminds him of himself." "And that date is," I asked. "End of this quarter," she said. 3 weeks. My stomach dropped. "You are telling me," I said, voice careful, "that unless you are married in 3 weeks, they can push you out." "Yes," she said. Her hand was flat on the page. "And they are already circling. That is why they watch every headline. That is why every rumor about my personal life turns into a board meeting." I stepped back a little, ran a hand through my hair, then stopped because it felt like a dumb gesture in a room like this. "So you looked at me and thought, 'Perfect,'" I said. "That guy looks like husband material." "I looked at you and thought," she said quietly, "here is someone who does not want a piece of my company. You do not network with the board. You do not flirt with reporters. You do not try to sit at the table unless someone invites you. You take care of your work and you go home. Or you did. Until tonight." Her eyes met mine. "If I marry some man from my father's world," she said, "he will try to control me. If I marry a stranger with a perfect story, the board will think I hired an actor. If I marry you, they will be confused. People like that hate being confused." I let out a breath that felt tight in my chest. "This is not a joke then," I said. "No, Jason," she said. "This is not a joke." My fingers found the back of one of the chairs. I gripped it to have something solid. "What would it mean?" I asked. "For real, if I say yes?" She did not look away. "It means a real marriage on paper," she said. "Legal. Public record. You would move in here. We would go to events together. The press would take pictures. The board would see a stable story they cannot poke holes in without looking like fools." And between us, I asked, because this was the part one could not skip, even if I wanted to. "What does it mean?" She paused. For the first time that night, I saw fear. Not the kind you show in meetings. The kind you push down because it makes you feel weak. "It means we start as partners," she said slowly. "In name. In public. We set rules. We tell the truth. We do not pretend to be in love if we are not. But we do not lie either." My heart beat harder at that word. Love. It sounded sharp and out of place in this room full of contracts. "And if something does change," she said, "if how we feel changes, we do not use it as a weapon." The air felt thick, like the room had shrunk. "You could lose a lot if you pick wrong," I said. "I already am losing a lot," she said. "Not just the job. The work. The thing I have built my whole life around. I am not asking you to save me. I am asking you to stand with me while I save it." Silence settled between us. Not empty. Full. My thumb rubbed the edge of the chair. I thought about my tiny apartment that always smelled faintly of old cooking. I thought about my friends at some loud bar, laughing over cheap drinks. I thought about Olivia in the break room, lighting a single candle so I would not eat my birthday alone. "You are my boss," I said. She nodded once. "True." "You could fire me," I said. "True again," she said. "But if we do this, I will not." I almost laughed. "That is not a very romantic promise," I said. "I am not very romantic," she said. "But I am honest." I looked down at the binder, at her hand, at the thin white lines near her knuckles from gripping too many boardroom tables. Then I looked back at her. "If I say yes," I said, "it is not because you cornered me. It is because I choose it. You do not get to call it a strategy later and pretend I was just a piece on your board." Her throat moved. Her eyes held mine steady. "Agreed," she said. "If you say yes, it is a choice. Yours and mine." My heart felt like it was trying to climb up into my mouth. I straightened. "Then I guess," I said, "I should stop pretending this is still a joke." Her gaze dropped to my hands, to the little black box I was still holding. "Jason," she said, voice low, "what is your answer?" I took a breath that did not feel deep enough. Her question hung in the air between us. It felt like I was standing on the edge of a roof. Not pushed, not pulled, just there, looking down. "Yes," I said. The word came out low and steady. It surprised me. I thought my voice would shake. Olivia did not move at first. Her eyes searched my face like she was looking for a crack, any sign that I was saying it to please her, or because I did not understand. "Say it again," she said. I swallowed. "Yes," I repeated. "I am in. Not as a joke. Not halfway." Something in her shoulders dropped, just a little, like someone had finally taken a weight off. She nodded once, sharp and small. "All right," she said. "Then we do this right." She held out her hand. I set the ring box on the desk and flipped it open. The ring caught the light. Simple band, 1 stone, nothing huge. It had not been meant for this woman, or this night, but somehow it felt like it had been waiting for something like this. "Can I?" I asked. "You better," she said. "Or this will be a very short marriage." Her attempt at a joke came out thin. She was nervous, too. That made me feel strangely steadier. I took her left hand. Her skin was warm, strong. I noticed a faint callus on the side of her middle finger, where a pen must rest. She did things herself. She signed things herself. I slid the ring onto her finger. For a second, everything went quiet. The city, the building, my own thoughts, All I saw was that ring settling into place and her watching it like she was trying to decide if it was real. "It fit," she said softly. "I guess it was meant for someone stubborn," I said. Her lips curved. She lifted her hand and looked at the ring, then at me. There was something new in her eyes. Not soft, not yet. Open, maybe. "We go to the courthouse in the morning," she said. Low-key. No press notice. My assistant can file the license before they close. My heart skipped. Morning. As in hours from now, not weeks. "Okay," I said. "Whatever you need." "Not whatever I need," she said. "Whatever we agree on. Do not start giving yourself away before we even sign anything." "That is not why I asked you," I nodded. "Then we should talk rules," I said. She lifted a brow. "Rules. You like contracts," I said. "You like clear terms." "So do I." Her mouth twitched. "All right, Miller," she said. "Lay them out." I leaned back against the edge of the desk next to her, leaving a small space between us. "First," I said, "no lying to each other. We can decide how much to say, but we do not fake things in private. If you are scared, you say scared. If you are angry, you say angry. If I am in over my head, I say it." "That is a lot of feelings for a data guy," she said. I shrugged. "Numbers are easier," I said. "People need rules." She nodded once. "Next. No fake affection just for cameras," I said. "If you hold my hand in front of the press, you do it because you would hold it at home. I do not want to be a prop. You do not get to use a kiss to close a deal." Her eyes flashed. "Fair," she said. "In return, you do not get to use this to punish me if you catch feelings later." That made my pulse jump. I forced my face to stay calm. "Deal," I said. "And third," she said before I could continue, "you do not dig into my past unless I tell you. No running background checks. No surprise questions about exes or family. If I want you to know, I will tell you." "Understood," I said. She watched me for a moment, then gave a short nod. "One more rule," I added. She sighed. "Of course. When you ask me for help at work," I said, "you ask me as Olivia, not as the CEO talking to some guy from the numbers department. No more sending requests through 3 managers like you are doing me a favor." A small smile pulled at her mouth. "You want direct access," she said. "I want to know when my wife is in trouble before the board does," I said. The word hung there. Wife. I had not planned to say it. It came out anyway. My chest burned a little. Her eyes softened fast, then went guarded again. She heard it. She did not make fun of it. "All right," she said. "You get that." We stood there in a strange quiet. 2 people in a clean office with a ring on her hand and a binder full of old rules on the desk. "You should sleep," she said. "Big day tomorrow." I laughed once. "You think I am sleeping?" I said. She rubbed 2 fingers against her temple. "Me either," she said. "I can go back to my place and meet you at the courthouse," I offered. Her gaze snapped to mine fast. "No," she said. Then she caught herself. "I mean, it will look better if you already live here. Less to explain later." I nodded slow. "All right," I said. "Then I guess I moved in." Her lips curved again. "I guess you did." She showed me the guest room. It was clean and quiet, with a big window and a bed that was way nicer than anything I had ever owned. There were no personal things in here. It felt like a hotel room that had never been used. "If you need anything," she said, "I will be in my room, down the hall." "Thanks," I said. She turned to go, then stopped in the doorway. "Jason," she said. "Yeah." "You can still change your mind before morning," she said. "If you walk out, I will not fire you. I will not ruin your name. I will call this my mistake. You do not owe me this." I looked at her, at the ring on her finger, at the tired fear she finally let me see. "I am not changing my mind," I said. "Why?" she asked quietly. "Because someone should stand between you and the people who think you are only safe if you are attached to a man," I said. Might as well be me. Her jaw clenched. Her eyes went glassy for a second, then cleared. "Good night," she said. "Night," I said. She left. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for a long time. Sleep did not come easy, but when it finally did, it was deep and heavy. The courthouse smelled like old files and cheap coffee. Light came in through high windows, turning dust into slow-moving specks. The clerk behind the glass looked bored until he saw her name on the form. "You are," he started, then cut himself off. "Right, of course. Sign here." Olivia wore a navy dress and a simple coat. Nothing flashy. Her hair was down. No cameras, no press, just us and a man with a stamp. We stood side by side at the counter while he checked IDs and typed things into an old computer. Our shoulders almost touched. I could feel her warmth through my jacket. "Last chance, Jason," she said under her breath. "You can run for the door." I leaned in just a little. "Ladies first," I said. Her lips twitched. When it was time, she signed her name like she had signed 1,000 contracts. Clean. Exact. No hesitation. When they passed me the pen, my hand shook just enough that I noticed. I kept going. My name looked smaller under hers. The clerk stamped the form with a heavy thunk. "That is it," he said. "You are married." No music, no crowd, no big speech. Just ink and a stamp and two people who had crossed the line. Olivia turned to me. There was a strange look on her face, part relief, part fear, part something I could not name yet. "Well," she said. "Congratulations, Mr. Hart." I snorted. "Do not start," I said. "I am keeping my name." She smiled for real then, bright and surprised, like I had caught her off guard. "Good," she said. "I like your name." Outside, the air hit us cold and sharp. The sky was gray, low clouds hanging over the city. For a moment, it was just us on the steps. Then I heard it. The click of a camera. The murmur of voices. A small cluster of people stood near the sidewalk. Not a mob, but enough. One had a camera. Another held a phone too high to be casual. A third whispered to someone and pointed. "Someone tipped them off," I said. "Of course," Olivia said. "My life leaks, comes with the badge." She straightened, her face shifting into the look I knew from company meetings. "Calm, cool. Nothing to see here. Ready?" she asked. "I hate attention," I said. "I know," she said. "That is why this works." She stepped forward. I moved with her. The camera flashes started, bright and sudden. Questions flew. "Miss Hart, is this real? Is this a stunt to calm investors? Who is he? When did you meet? Did your father approve?" Olivia did not answer any of them. She kept her chin up and her pace steady. Her hand brushed my arm but did not grab. The small touch was enough to steady me. We reached her car. The driver had the back door open. We slid inside. The sound cut off like someone had shut a door on a storm. For a long moment we just sat there. I could hear both our breaths in the quiet. "Well," I said. That was subtle. She let out a short breath that was almost a laugh. "I told you they were circling," she said. We pulled away from the curb. The city moved past the windows, a blur of gray and steel. "You know this will not stop them," I said. "I know," she said. "It just makes it harder for them to pretend this is about my personal life and not their own control." "They will dig into me now," I said. "Yes," she said. "I am sorry." "Do not be," I said. "They will not find much." "Boring, remember. You are not boring," she said quietly. Heat rose in my neck. I pretended I did not hear it. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and swore under her breath. "What?" I asked. "Board meeting," she said. "Emergency. This afternoon. My father is already here." "You told them?" I asked. "No," she said. The headlines did. She turned the screen so I could see. There was already a picture of us on a business news site, walking down the courthouse steps. The title said, "Young CEO marries employee amid turmoil." Stability move or desperation. They work fast, I said. They have been waiting for something like this, she said. Now they will decide if it makes me look weak or wise. Then we give them facts, I said. Not drama. She looked at me. I watched the fight come back into her shoulders like someone flipping a switch. What facts? She asked. You think they are circling just because you are single, I said. They are circling because someone wants your job, and they are using any story they can. Let me see the numbers they keep throwing in your face. Her eyes narrowed. Shipments, costs, delays. That is not your department. Numbers are all my department, I said. If someone is cutting holes in your company, it will show up in data before it shows up in headlines. She studied me for a second, then nodded. All right, she said. When we get to the office, I will give you everything. Full access. Every report, every memo. If you are going to stand next to me in that room, you should know exactly what we are walking into. My stomach flipped at the idea of sitting in a boardroom with her father and a bunch of people who thought I was a prop. But something else moved under that feeling. Determination, maybe. Okay, I said. Then let us go find the holes. Her hand rested on the seat between us, close but not touching. I did the same. Our fingers lay there, almost lined up, not quite. The car moved forward, taking us toward a fight I was not trained for, and a woman I was already in deeper with than I should be. I looked at our hands and thought, if this started as a joke, the punchline was coming, and it was going to hit hard. The office looked different when you walked in as someone who had just gotten married. Or maybe it was just my head that felt different. People watched us when we stepped onto the floor. They tried to hide it, but I saw the quick glances. Some looked curious. Some looked like they were already trying to do the math. CEO plus analyst equals what? Olivia did not slow down. She walked straight to her office. I kept pace beside her. Her assistant, Claire, popped up from her desk with wide eyes. You are really married, Claire blurted. Olivia did not even blink. Claire, I need every report the board has thrown at us in the last 6 months, she said. Shipments, costs, delays, complaints. And everything from the new chief operations guy. What is his name? Reed, Claire said. Tom Reed. Right, Olivia said. Him. Claire nodded fast and ran off. Inside the office, Olivia shut the door and pulled the blinds halfway. The city spread outside the glass, gray and high. The desk was clear, like always. The only sign of the morning was the new ring on her hand. You sure you want this? She asked. Full access is not something I give often. I smiled a little. I already married you, I said. I think we crossed the line past trust issues. Her mouth twitched. Claire brought in stacks of folders. My email started pinging with shared drives and links. For a while, all we did was print and spread things out. The desk disappeared under paper. Charts, tables, vendor names, gate logs. I rolled up my sleeves and pulled a chair close. This is like that scene in a heist movie, I said. Which one? She asked. The one where the nerd shows everyone how the bad guy did it. She huffed a soft sound. That all I am to you? She asked. You're a nerd. You are a lot of things, I said. Then I dropped my head to the work. Once I got into the numbers, the noise in my head quieted. This was my field. Rows and columns. It did not care about my clothes or my last name. It only cared if things matched. I looked for patterns. Vendors that showed up fast and large. Routes that changed without reason. Costs that bent the wrong way. I circled odd lines, then traced them across reports. There, I said. Olivia came around to my side of the desk, leaning over my shoulder. I pointed to a vendor that had started small and then exploded in volume. Very short history. No long-term contract. Paid fast. Too fast. This is one of your new stars, I said. Reed must love this one. He does, she said. Keeps telling the board it proves his plan is working. I pulled up the payment sheet. The bank path went through 2 other names, then a third. One of them made my stomach twist. Heart River Holdings, I read. She went still. "That is one of my father's shells," she said. "He uses it for side deals." "So your father owns a piece of the vendor that is bleeding you," I said. "And your board sees only the vendor side." Her jaw clenched. "Show me more." I showed her 3 more vendors that tied back to the same few shells. All quiet. All clean on the surface. All fed by missing freight and fake delay fees. Then I pulled up a side memo from Reed to the board that had been sent without her copied. Someone on the inside must have slipped it to her later. It said Olivia's emotional strain was starting to affect her focus. It said the company needed firm guidance and that old trust rules gave them a clear path to change at the top. I looked up at her. "They are building a story," I said. "Your father gets rich from secret vendors. Reed looks like a savior. You look unstable." Then boom, they use the clause to throw you out. Her face did not crack, but I could see the fight behind her eyes. Hard and bright. "So we use their own story," she said. "We make the board choose between a clean company and men who steal from it. We do not have that kind of power," I said. "But we can give them something very hard to ignore." "What?" she asked. "Proof," I said. "Enough that if they look away, they look guilty too." By the time the board meeting started, my neck hurt and my eyes burned. My hands smelled like printed ink. Olivia had changed into a black suit jacket over her dress. It made her look like a knife. Claire handed her a folder. Inside was a tight pack of the worst pages. The clear ties between the vendors and her father's shells. A simple chart I had drawn that even someone who never looked at a ledger could understand. "This looks like something out of a crime show," Claire said under her breath. Her eyes flicked to me. "It is that bad." "It is business," I said. "Just the dirty kind." The boardroom was cold on purpose. Long polished table, leather chairs, big windows. Men in dark suits, a few women in sharp dresses. At the far end sat a man with white hair and a face I had only seen in magazines. Olivia's father. He had the same eyes as his daughter, but none of the softness she kept hidden. His were flat and hard. He smiled when she walked in, but it did not reach those eyes. "Olivia," he said, "you have been busy." "So have you," she said. Some directors glanced at me when I took a seat at her side, near the middle of the table. Some looked annoyed. Some curious. One man in a gray suit openly frowned. "This is a board meeting," he said. "Why is staff present?" Olivia rested her hands on the folder. Her ring caught the light. "He is my husband," she said, "and he is the one who found what you should have seen months ago." Her father's stare cut to me like a knife. "So this is him," he said. "The analyst." "Jason Miller," I said. "Data." He snorted once. The chair cleared his throat and started with the headlines. The marriage. The client concerns. The usual. A few members took turns worrying out loud about image, about trust, about stability. They did not say the clause. They did not need to. It hung over the table like a ghost. My father waited until they were done. Then he folded his hands. "Olivia," he said, "you made a personal choice that affects our name. We would like to understand if this is a stunt or a plan." Olivia did not flinch. "You want to talk about stunts," she said. "Fine. Let us start with the ones on the books." She nodded at me. My heart beat hard, but the numbers gave me courage. I stood and handed copies of my chart to the board members, one by one. Some took it like it was dirty. Some took it like they were hungry. "What is this?" one of them asked. "The reason you have missing freight that never shows up again," I said, "and the reason some of your costs look better only on paper." I kept my voice calm. I walked them through it. Simple. Straight. How vendor A got paid too fast. How vendor B had no real office. How 3 new partners all sent money to the same shell company. "Heart River Holdings," I said. That one caught my eye. A muscle jumped in Olivia's father's jaw. "That shell is owned by you, sir," I said. A low murmur moved around the table. "You are accusing me of stealing from my own company," he said. His tone was smooth, but his hand had tightened on the arm of his chair. I am showing you the pattern, I said. The accusation is up to the rest of the board, and maybe some other offices later. One woman near the end of the table leaned forward. She had short hair and a sharp gaze. Is this confirmed? She asked. You can call the bank and ask, I said. Or you can bring in an outside auditor. They will find more than I did. I only had a few hours. Reed, the chief operations guy, spoke up then. His tie was too bright for the room. This is wild talk, he said. We have made clear gains under my plan. Growth always has noise. Noise does not send money to the CEO's father, I said. Not by accident. The room went hot and cold at the same time. Some faces flushed. Some went white. My own hands were steady. I was too tired to be scared. Olivia's father turned to her, not me. You married this boy, he said, voice quiet now. And now he calls me a thief. She did not look away. I married a man who looks at facts, she said. The board asked if I was stable enough to lead, so I am giving them something real to look at. He laughed once, short and sharp. You think this protects you? He asked. You think a ring and a few charts will keep you in that seat? I think this makes the choice clear, she said. You can keep a CEO who brings you hard truth. Or you can keep men who drain your own house and hide it in tricks. The woman with short hair looked at him. Heart River Holdings, she said. Is it yours? He hesitated, just for a breath. It was enough. It is a side vehicle, he said, for long-term projects. Not relevant here. The board chair spoke up. We vote on two things, he said. One, we bring in outside audit at once, full access. Two, we decide if we still have confidence in the current CEO. The room felt like it shrank. You cannot be serious, Olivia's father said. We can, the woman said. And we must. She looked at Olivia. Your life should not be under a trust rule tied to a ring, she said. It should be tied to performance. Slowly, hands went up. First for audit. All. Then for confidence. One by one, they raised their hands again. Some looked at Olivia when they did. Some did not. Her father kept his down. Reed kept his down. But there were more yes hands than no motion passes, the chair said. Audit begins today, and Olivia stays. For a second, I thought she might sag. She did not. She only nodded once. Thank you, she said. Her father stood. His chair scraped a little. You are making a mistake, he said. To her. To them. To me. Maybe, Olivia said, but at least it will be mine, not yours. He walked out without another word. Reed followed him fast, face tight. The room slowly emptied. Some directors came by to shake Olivia's hand. A few even nodded at me. Then it was just us and papers, and the echo of what had just happened. She sank into her chair. Her hands shook now that no one was watching. Only a little, but I saw. You okay? I asked. She let out a slow breath. I should ask you that, she said. You just called my father a thief in his own house. I did not call him that, I said. I showed them how someone was stealing. His reaction did the rest. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she laughed. It was soft and a little wild. What? I asked. You, she said. You walked into a boardroom full of people who could ruin you and did not even sweat. Oh, I am sweating, I said. I am just good at hiding it. She stood up slowly and came around the table. She stopped right in front of me. We were close enough that I could see the tiny line near her eye from lack of sleep. Close enough to smell the warm note of her perfume under the cold air. Jason, she said. Yeah. Thank you, she said. Her voice was quiet but full. Not just for the charts, she added. For standing there like you belong next to me. I swallowed. I do belong next to you, I said. Her eyes searched mine. The fight in them had shifted. It was still there, but now there was something else under it, something warmer. This started as a way to keep my job, she said. A move on a board I did not choose. I told myself that is all it was. You do not have to finish that, I said. She took a small step closer. I want to, she said. You stayed when you could have walked. You took hits that were meant for me. You turned my house into a place that has coffee cups in the sink and a jacket on the back of a chair instead of a picture in a magazine. You made my birthday joke into the safest choice I have ever made. My chest felt tight. My hand lifted on its own and found her hip. Light. Not a claim, just contact. This is the part where your father says I trapped you, I said. He will say it, she said. People like him always do. But he would be wrong. I picked you. I am picking you now. Her hand came up to touch my jaw. Her fingers were warm. You asked me on your birthday, she said. Half joke, half test. I answered with my place tonight. Bring a ring. I thought I was pulling you into my fight. What do you think now? I asked. She smiled, small and real. Now I think I found my partner, she said. I leaned in slow. She had all the time in the world to step back. She did not. She closed the last bit of space herself. Our mouths met. The kiss was not rushed like in the car earlier that day. It was slow and deep and sure. Not a stunt, not a cover, a promise. Her hands slid up to my shoulders. My fingers pressed into the small of her back. The stress in her body eased, inch by inch, like I could feel every time she let go of a fear she had carried alone. When we finally pulled back, we rested our foreheads together. Her breath brushed my lips. Mine brushed hers. So now what? I asked. Now, she said, we go home. Home. The word hit me hard. Not her place. Not the house. Home. That night, we sat on her couch with takeout containers on the coffee table. We were too tired to cook. The lake lights shone through the big windows. Her heels were somewhere under the table. My tie hung off the back of a chair. The ring on her hand caught the light every time she reached for her food. We talked. Not about the board, not about trust papers. About stupid things. My worst haircut in college. Her first car. The time she fell off a stage in high school and still finished her speech sitting on the floor. At one point, she got up and went to the kitchen. When she came back, she was holding a small chocolate cupcake with a candle stuck in it. You know my birthday already passed, I said. She lit the candle anyway and set it in front of me. This is not for that, she said. This is for your first day of not carrying this alone. I looked at the little flame. My chest felt full. Make a wish, she said. I shook my head. I do not want to, I said. Why not? She asked. Her brow creased. Because it already came true, I said. She went still. Her eyes shone in the soft light. You are getting good at this, she said. At what? I asked. At not being boring. I blew out the candle. Smoke curled up and faded. She leaned in and kissed me again, gentle this time. Later, as we got ready for bed, I stood in the doorway of the hall looking at both rooms. The guest room where I had started this day. Her room at the other end, door half open. She came up behind me, hair down, feet bare, face soft in the low light. You can sleep where you want, she said. Guest room if you need space. My room if you want company. Is that a rule? I asked. No, she said. Just a choice. I took her hand. The ring touched my skin. I choose you, I said. Her fingers tightened around mine. Then, come on, she said. I followed her down the hall, not as a joke, not as a shield, as a man who had walked into a rich woman's mess and found something simple and rare under all the noise. On my last birthday, I blew out a candle alone. On this one, I joked, marry me to my boss. She said my place tonight. Bring a ring. I did. It saved her company. It burned her father's old rules. It ruined my quiet life in the best way. And it gave me a wife who stands like a storm in the boardroom and leans into my hand in the dark when the world finally gets quiet.